This is Banging on the Drum. It is another beautiful day in West Central Wisconsin, and welcome to episode 122 of Banging on the Drum. I think our rough draft name for this one is Mike Could Be Shirtless by next Sunday or Monday, whenever we record this from losing the bets too much.
No, that would have to be a Thursday episode, I'm pretty sure, because then we'd know for sure they lost.
Oh, yep. So yeah, next Thursday might be shirtless on the show. So for all you ladies out there that have been tuning into our YouTube channel, get ready for a treat on next Thursday, maybe. So yeah, let's start out with shoot, I'm blanking real bad right now. We need to chug a sun drop, but please remember to like, subscribe, download our stuff. Our last YouTube video did real well, so we appreciate the support on that. But I'm your host, P-Dog, joined alongside my co-host, M-Dog. And M-Dog is going to start out this show shotgunning a sun drop from his horrendous performance in the week 3 6-pack and a pound picks of the week. But I'm going to join him in this one, so it'll be a moment of silence for sun drop while Mike is doing this.
Yeah. Well, I'm not ready here, Pat. Come on, man.
Oh shit, Mike's going too slow. I thought he already had this bad boy pop. So
I did.
I'm killing the dead air time. Mike cracks it back. He is on his third sun drop. He is sucking that thing down. I don't think he popped the top all the way. So it's going a little bit slower. I think he's regressing in his shotgunning ability because this one's taking a little bit longer.
I didn't open the hole on that one as much as I have the last couple times. But the cold ones are harder than the warm ones, I can tell you that. I'm like crying over here.
I always enjoy your eyes when you come back from after shotgun.
Yeah, like it makes my eyes water, man.
It's like all the carbonation just going straight to the brain right there.
So, but like maybe that's good. So like there's a lot of times like I'm like stifling yawns on this thing.
Yep.
And so maybe I should just like open it with shotgun in one. I don't have to shotgun it necessarily either. I could just drink it, but
no, that's been kind of my strategy because I feel like coffee's too aggressive for right now. So
yeah,
a little peek behind the scenes. We usually record 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern time. Yep. So we're usually going pretty late. So sometimes it's hard to get the energy up, but go out
Not
there
tonight.
But
let's go.
Yep, go out there, grab a sun drop, and you'll be good to go. So that's what I've been doing lately. But yeah, how's it going? I know you're on a work trip. You got some good overs and unders coming from this. So overs.
Yeah, so I'll start with my unders. I'm kind of like I missed kind of a good week at school for my kids, right? And so they have homecoming week, which I might have mentioned last week. And so they're doing all this dress up stuff. So the daughter went as Mario today, and the kid went as Dog Man, which I think there's some people in our listening crowd that will appreciate the Dog Man costume. Do you know who Dog Man is?
No clue who Dog Man is. So
no clue. Do you know Captain Underpants?
Oh yeah, I do know.
So the same guy wrote Dog Man, and like it, but my son really enjoys it. It's like a comic book, kind of like Captain Underpants.
Yeah, I wonder why little boys are so like. I don't want to call your kid dumb, but I love Captain Underpants for like no freaking reason, just because his name was Captain Underpants. So I like pretended that I liked it, and then I would read them. So my mom would always buy those ones when we had the book fairs.
Yeah, as long as you were reading, they didn't care, right?
Yeah, there was something about those book fairs. Those were magical. But sorry, Dog Man, right. New book.
But they did that. They had like a flannel dress up day, and so they've been just kind of jazzed up all week, and it would have been kind of nice to see them like that. The wife is headed back to work a little bit. She's going to be substitute teaching, so they like our whole week kind of got just like thrown off. So she works 2 days this week. My parents are gone. Just kind of like this work trip happened at exactly the wrong time.
Yeah, that seems to be how it goes. I do got some questions for you though. More on Kelly's side of things. So your wife's side of things, if people didn't know. But if she's substituting, like how does that work? So she knows already she has 2 days, but can she ever just get called on a whim?
Yeah.
And then
I think they said they'd call between 6 and 6:30 in the morning if they were going to call her. So
okay. But could she be like, I'm not going to do that today?
Yep. Yeah. So she kind of has the choice. So if they would call her on Friday. So my son is at home. If they would call her Friday morning, she wouldn't be able to like go because Jackson would be at home, and then we have nobody to watch him because my parents are gone. So most days, like most weeks, my parents would be able to take him if we need him to. But she could always use that as an excuse Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like, oh, I got to watch my kid. Like, I can't do it today or whatever. Not that she would probably do that. Like she picked up today, even though she had to drive to Sparta this morning, and then again tonight to drop him off to her parents. But that's because she knew it was coming. Where in the morning it'd be like impossible to get everybody ready.
Yeah. You kind of need a little more notice. Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that. Like if it was a sweet gig or if it was kind of like a, hey, you're coming in today, like whether
there's no question about
it. Yeah, like you're a sub, you sign this contract type deal.
No contract, just as she's needed. But I suppose if she doesn't show up, she probably just won't get called, right? If she turns them down all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if she turns them down once in a while, I don't think it'll be a big deal, but I'm not sure. Like maybe they need subs so bad that it doesn't matter. She can turn down every time if she wants, and they'll still call. I have no idea, but
yeah. No, interesting to me though.
Yeah, and then so I had an opportunity for my over to watch a complete Brewers game first pitch to last pitch. I didn't pay that much of attention to it, just like I would normally watch baseball. Watch last night's game, got tonight's game on too. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
you started tuning in like once the relevancy has kind of left the
It's over.
building.
Yeah.
Well, that's not completely true, but we'll get that into in our roll out the barrel section. But I
Yeah.
think this Cardinals series is kind of irrelevant for us. But I think the Cubs won. I think we should try to knock them out, which is possible. Like get Miami into the playoffs.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Are you sure? Do we want Miami or do we want the Cubs?
No, that's what I was saying last episode. Is like it's always I've learned my lesson on cheering for what opponent I want more.
Yeah.
And I think being soft on the Cubs to let them into the playoffs to have to play them is just not a good move. Like
Okay.
because then they would
Get
already
some confidence against us.
yeah. And I guess I am going to cheer for an opponent in that because if we knock the Cubs out, that's just like playing with house money. So we already get the like satisfaction of keeping the Cubs out of the playoffs.
It's
And
almost
then,
like eliminating two teams if then we can go and eliminate Miami as well.
exactly. And then we don't have to worry about the Cubs fans trying to invade Miller Park during
Yeah,
that.
and Miami doesn't have any fans, so we might be able to invade their park.
Well, we'll see Marlins man sitting right next to front row Amy in the playoffs, so we'll have them both. But anyways, you're watching Brewers baseball now.
Yeah, 2 nights in a row. I'm the biggest fan they got.
Yeah, I mean your hotel room looks nice. They're putting you up somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to try my Chris Voss, get a better room, but I decided not to.
You bitched out. You decided to be a good person.
I'm too embarrassed to ask for an upgrade for nothing.
No, you're too good of a person to be that big of a dickhead to someone at a front desk.
Also, they don't even. I don't know. Do they have to do like that much? I'm not sure.
No,
And it would have been
know.
for 5 days, which is pretty ridiculous.
It would have been sweet. I think you should have tried it out and seen how you felt inside about it. If you felt dirty or if you're just like, yeah. I was thinking that today. You can tell a lot about how a person is by the way they drive, like in traffic, like how selfishly they'll like cut people off and things. Like someone like cuts you off, like sure it happens. Like I've done my fair share of shitty driving in my life, like where I feel like stupid. And maybe sometimes when this happens to me, the person's up there like, oh man, I wish I didn't cut him off like that, or if I didn't have to. And sometimes, you know, if the situation calls for it, you need to do it. But I seen a dude, I was like guaranteed asshole, like just cutting people off. Like I was like, I know I wouldn't like that person.
So how big a city do you live in? Well,
It's
Tallahassee's pretty big, right?
yeah, we could
like in Chicago, you have to drive like that. You have to, like, you won't get into lanes if you don't drive like that. They want you. I don't say they want you to cut them off, but they expect you to just continue to drive while you get into that other lane, even if it's a small space.
Yeah. So Tallahassee's not too big. It's 197,000 people.
Oh, I would have expected much larger.
Yeah.
Like more like 500,000.
Yeah, no, it does have like a pretty small town feel to it, but
That's
people
good.
do.
It doesn't feel like, does it feel like Madison or like La Crosse?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the middle of those two, for real. Like that is a pretty good spot. I would say
like Eau Claire, maybe.
If I had to choose between them, it feels more like Madison than La Crosse for sure. But just because the city revolves around a huge university, you go out on like a Saturday, you don't see like anybody without FSU gear on. All the bumper stickers around here have FSU stuff on it, or FAMU is big too, so a lot of FAMUs around. But yeah, more like Madison, but yeah, not quite. I don't know. It ain't bad, but people drive pretty crazy around here, I will say.
Yeah.
But I think everybody that lives in a decent sized city is like, yeah, we have the worst drivers, but I think Tallahassee could take the cake in that regard.
Have you been to Illinois?
Yeah. Florida's worse, man. They are bad in Florida. But I think it's because it's like such a tourist state. Like in the other place I live, there's so much like military turnover. So there's always new people, like new roads, and then areas where, you know, like you can't even be that clever in civil engineering because you have a freaking ocean next to you.
So it's like on the other side, right?
Yeah. So you got one way to get to places. Like in Wisconsin, if something's 5 miles away, it's usually 5 minutes away. Like in Florida, if it's 5 miles away, it could be like 28 minutes away. Like it's shitty. But yeah, we got off on a rant there. I don't even remember. That was just because you were watching the Brewers.
Oh yeah, and I do have. I said something. No, I said something. No, I don't remember how we got there either. But it was about watching. I do have to say that me being the homecoming and the prom king did get brought up in my daily life again.
That boy. Keep
rubbing it in. How this happens.
No, you got to keep doing it. You did something cool, so you get to talk about it. That's the rule there.
Yeah. So the person that I was mentioning to probably didn't think it was very cool. They said, "Oh, you were that guy," and I said, "I guess, yeah. I mean, I think that guy gets a lot of bad rap that I didn't do though."
I mean, that guy probably gets blowjobs, and I don't think you were getting those either.
No, it was definitely not.
All right, we ready for me? Ready for me to be self-centered here?
Yep.
All right. So worst things that happened to me this week. Mine's pretty tame. So never mind, I take it back. I need to get ready to move. I hate doing that shit. I still do not have a single thing ready to move, and I'm about to move up to Tennessee. So it's gonna be we're moving Saturday, Sunday. So
Is your wife ready to move?
she's gonna be ready tomorrow, and she'll be 100% ready tomorrow. And I'll still be packing stuff on Saturday. So
Yeah.
uh then my other under is definitely getting old. Kind of correlates with part of my over though. So since we went back in Tallahassee, like people have just been like, oh shit, let's hang out, let's hang out, let's hang out. So we're trying to like basically hang out with like every one of our friends in Tallahassee. And sure
Especially
enough,
since you're leaving again, right?
yeah. And sure enough, one of my buddies is from my unit and he's 21. And I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I went out with him and his buddies one other time, but man almighty, we went to a taco place, which was fine. It was like pretty tame in there, but they still had like way too loud of music for a restaurant. Like I'm like, who wants loud music while they're eating tacos? Like it was definitely more of, I mean, it was
Well, you got to have
Cancun.
mood music when you're eating tacos.
You need what music?
Mood music.
Yeah, like a mariachi band or something like that. But like this was like rap songs and dancing music and just like pounding in there. And
Is
like
it was it so was it a like a jukebox like where you could put requests in for a mariachi music?
I don't think so. No, I think they had a DJ in the place or something. But yeah, so I was yelling across the table trying to talk to everybody. So then they were like, "Oh, we got this chill spot where we can go and have a few beers," because they were getting ready to go on rage, and I was like, "Man, I'll pregame with you guys," but then I'm hopping in the Uber and heading home. So we get to the well, and then they tell me it's this chill place, and I was like, "Dude, that's where we went last time I went out with you," and it was like chill until 10 o'clock, and then it was like
Right.
balls to the wall, like wait an hour. I don't know. I was getting the people I was with were super cool. Like none of my annoyance came from them, but it was like when I would have to go up and get a beer and like it was just yeah, like some dudes trying to be cool. It is weird. Like I was these kids. Like I'm not shitting on them or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah. Yep.
but you can just like feel the insecurity in the place, like with the backwards ball caps and like trying to look cool and like I don't know. It was interesting to watch, but
So I was watching the episode. I had the backwards ball cap. I think that's a good move.
yeah, it's not just a backwards ball cap. I think,
I
like I
think
said,
37 to 50, I can definitely pull off the backwards ball cap.
yeah, I
Maybe
think
after 50, I got to reevaluate, but till 50, I'm good.
yeah, at 50, then you got to find some like golfing hat or something that you
Can I
can.
wear that one backwards though? Like a
No, I think you got to wear that one for forwards. Like I can't wait till I'm 65 and I get to wear like the Afghanistan veteran hat.
why
I'm
can't
gonna
you wear that now?
be you 65. That's when
Come
you
on,
can
man.
once you can get your AARP or whatever that is.
That comes with your AARP card or what?
Yeah, they send you the hat and you're good to go.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it was interesting being out with young people and just being like, damn, like it's way different because like inside I'm like yeah I could still be like a 25-year-old, but it was like different in like the bad way was like I felt too old to be there, which I was like I definitely was too old to be there. Never would go there by myself. I think it's understandable. I went there to have a beer with a guy that I know.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
But
It'd be like going to the library today,
yeah,
right? Like
I,
it just
I think you can go to the bar, the library. Yeah,
yeah, you
that
can go to the
that
library when you're old. You can't go to the bar, the library. Or what is it, Brothers is the other one. Right? Like
yeah
going into those bars would be weird as like a 35-year-old.
yeah, and you get looked at funny. And yeah, I beat the guys to the taco place that was down in College Town, I think they call it. So I was looking like a weirdo at a bar and feeling like a weirdo a little bit,
Yeah.
as I'm calling other people insecure. But I forgot where I was going with this. But no, it was like old in like a good and bad way. Like I was like, I'm so happy I don't have to deal with some of this bullshit. And then like I was like, but I am too old to be here, and that kind of feels weird. Like you
Yeah.
when you're young, you don't expect that to like really happen to you. Like I mean, I think you know it will happen to you, but you're kind of pointing at that guy, being like, that guy looks like he's too old to be in here. Like there's something weird about that guy.
Yeah. What the fuck's wrong with that guy? Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think that basically covers it for me. So my over's just been hanging out with everybody, having a good time, and then feeling fat because of it. But then I was like, I got to prove something to myself. So I needed to run 5 miles in under 40 minutes was my goal, and I did it fairly easily on the treadmill.
Nice.
Though I still can't do it outside consistently by myself, but that is kind of my goal to do.
Do you wear a watch?
I do, yeah, but I have a tough time keeping that 8 minute mile pace out on the streets. I mean, on treadmill,
Like a nice watch?
it's like an
one-
Apple Watch. Like it ain't
Okay, so
great.
could you like have it vibrate at you if you get under that 8 mile pace?
There probably is a way to set something up
Okay.
because I'll use a Nike Run Club as well when I run, and I think there's a way to set a pace. Like it would tell me in my headphones like what my pace is, and maybe
or
to
it
pick it
shuts
up.
your music off if you start going slower than 8 minute miles.
Ooh, that's smart. If that's not invented, that's like kind of a good one because you're like, damn, now I got to run dry. Like then
Yeah,
you
and
pick
then
it
you
back up.
speed it up or you quit. One of the two.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
That is a good one. We should patent. We're patent. Let's
We
consider that
just
patented
we
right
just
now.
did. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
patenting it
I
right
think we
now.
just say that it's patented and then it's patent, right?
Yep, that's exactly how it goes. You don't need a lawyer or anything. You ready to roll out the barrel?
Uh, yeah. So I'll get into this roll out the barrel. The Brewers just back their ass up and fall right into the NL Central Championship. And now
Hmm.
we are just waiting on who we get to play in the first round of the playoffs.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be a battle between. So, how many games do we got left? So I think it's 6 games left or five. It'll be five after tonight, I'm pretty sure.
So there
But
can't be too many left because we got to start the playoffs in early October.
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's 5 or 6, depending where you're at in your schedule. Some teams have five, some teams have 6. But yeah, right now it looks like we're either going to get the Cubs, and I think as it sits right now, we have the Cubs for the first 3-game wild card series, all at Miller Park. But like we alluded to earlier, we do have an opportunity to take the Cubs out of the playoffs and be playing the Miami Marlins. So we clinched our playoff berth Friday night. So before our last show, and we've mentioned that already. Then I think we were just popping champagne and partying in Miami. So I don't blame the guys at all for dropping the next couple. But then the Cubs started winning, and then it was starting to turn into, hey, we either need to win one or we need the Cubs to lose one. And it would have been nicer to win the game and lock up the playoff berth.
Yep.
You feel like you get some more momentum by that. But the Brewers literally locked up the NL Central by walk off. I don't know if they called it an error or a misplayed ball. Should
Doesn't
be an
matter.
error.
Can of corn.
Yeah, dropped. The Cubs lose to Atlanta, which I mean, when you're playing Atlanta, you're probably not going to sweep Atlanta, so you're going to lose one there. But yeah, and landed themselves in the NL Central, locked into the 3 spot, and like Mike just said, we're waiting to see if we're going to get Miami or the Cubs. But yeah, I personally think we should try to knock the Cubs out of the playoffs before they get before it's in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's really no reason we can't start the playoffs right now, right? Start the playoffs, eliminate the Cubs, then try to go in and eliminate the Marlins. Now, I wouldn't necessarily set my pitching staff up for that.
Yeah,
Because you're going to want to like get it set so that it's right. So they were saying tonight that Wade Miley probably had his last start today for the regular season.
yeah.
But what you could do is bring up a bunch of AAA guys and let them pitch and just like have our bats figured out for the week.
So it looks like if ESPN's telling me right, obviously, I don't think Craig Counsell is gonna show his cards before he has to play them. But right now, like you said, Miley's pitching tonight. Looks like we got Burns tomorrow, which I think you would still throw Burns versus St. Louis there. Honestly, actually, I would probably push Burns. No, because so right now when we face the Cubs, we got Woodruff, like quite possibly our best pitcher, Peralta. I mean, if you've been watching the Brewers, listening to this show, our top 3 guys are all A guys. I think they could land. I mean, they wouldn't land on any team. Maybe Burns, would land on any team and be an ace. Woodruff.
They would all be a top 2 guy though on any team, right?
Any team. Yeah, Burns might be the top guy on any team. Woodruff might be the top guy on any team, and Peralta's a top guy on a lot of teams, and then maybe like at a worst a 2 on any other staff. So great pitching staff. I think we're gonna dive deeper into the Brewers. Hopefully get Mad Chad on one more time before the playoffs start. I was doing a little deep diving into the numbers and just seeing like where we stack up, and it is what it is. Like your eyes aren't lying to you when you're watching the Brewers. Like they're pretty far down there in all the batting stats. Like I think at an average in the NL, they're like 13th in the NL. Home runs, they're right there 13th. Like pretty much bottom 5 in every NL hitting statistic in there. But then they're top 2 in every pitching statistic in there. So it's gonna be pitching and defense if we can get the job done. Willie Peralta has been picking it up, then slowing back down, picking it up. So if we can get a hot Willie Peralta in there, I think we got a chance to make a lot of noise in these playoffs. But we'll do a better roll out the barrel right before the season starts, or right before the postseason starts. And
so the Brewers will play their first game on October 2nd.
Okay,
which is Monday.
Yeah, then we might have to. We should have done it today, but
no, we can do a straight business episode because we can probably see who's going to be pitching, like how things are going to set up, right?
Yeah, we'll do it.
When it's straight business, we'll go straight to Brewers business and then Packers business because we won't have Badger business this week.
Yep, and yeah, that was our next thing we were getting to is the Badger preview that doesn't exist because we have a bye week this year. So from there, we're gonna roll right on to Bucks in 6.
So I think we're gonna update that to our song stuff.
What?
We gotta update it. It's got to be like the 130 point Bucks.
130 point Bucks. I like.
So I added the 100 because 30 point Bucks doesn't sound like good.
What is it? The 30-point bucks?
The 30-point buck.
Oh, you seen the
I seen
30
the 30
pointer?
pointer. I seen the 30 pointer. Right? No,
Oh yeah, man. I've been out of Wisconsin too long. Yeah, no,
man.
I mean I've heard that song way too many times.
I used to wait in my car until it played opening morning of deer hunting, which is like every probably like 10 minutes. Like
Yeah,
one station will have it every 10 minutes. But I used to wait in my car on opening day of deer hunting just to hear it.
get jacked up about the 30 pointer. Did you
Yep.
see the 30 pointer? Did you see the 30 pointer? Yeah, I think I used to like I was never like, oh, this song's awesome. Maybe I was when I was younger. Like my dad definitely got me into it. But I
Yeah.
think there was a point in time where I probably could have done 95% of the song, if not 100%.
Yeah, I think so, right? That like that's a that's a song that when you were a child at least, like you tried to know it.
Yeah.
Knowing the gun, I don't think I could have known the gun.
I gotta start asking more people if they've ever heard that song because I think the Upers are like
Just yeah, they're just a Wisconsin band, right?
Wisconsin. I mean, Upper Michigan is they're an Upper Michigan band,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I think they're only big in Wisconsin and
Maybe the
Upper
Midwest, right? In general.
Yeah,
Like so maybe like in Michigan and then Minnesota, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you
Maybe
should start like playing it for people down there.
I will, because I do tend to work with a crowd that hunts, so maybe
Has your
they'll love
wife
it.
ever heard it?
I mean, I think she definitely did when we were up for a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or something. It would
Yeah,
have
if
to be
you're
a
around
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, that's probably a good point.
Yeah. If not, I'll play for her this year. So the 130 point bucks, we're calling this segment for now, unless unless something changes soon. But you look like you typed up some shit, so I'm gonna let you do the 130 point bucks.
Yeah. So Damian Lillard gets traded to the Bucks today. The Bucks. So he's got a 4-year contract. Year 3 and 4 are like $63 million. Maybe that's why it's like some type of option. I
Yeah,
don't know if
no,
that happens after this year or what the deal is, but he signed a 4-year contract in what do you say, 21 or 22?
yeah. So I'm looking at Slow Track. So he's got a 4-year contract, and this is what it's showing me on this. So 21, 22 already happened. Oh, so no, I was, yeah, no, 22, 23 already happened. Okay. So this is showing me we have them obviously for all 23, 24. Then it's showing me a player option for
Okay.
24, 25.
So he might bolt after this year.
Yeah, and he's definitely, so I think he might have it might be a 2-year player option though. So if he picks up that option, it's 2 years. Because
Oh, okay.
then lower in this is saying 25, 26, 26, 27. And then he's an unrestricted free agent in the 27, 28 season.
Okay.
So,
Which if he
so,
stays with the Bucks, we can pay him the most if he wants to continue playing, or the Bucks want to keep him on.
yeah. And that is interesting because he definitely wanted to go to Miami,
Yep.
made it pretty clear. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
we might
heard
only have him 1 year. He did say something about wanting to play with Giannis, though.
Yeah, but it was just like a tweet from 2022. I think that's probably what you're referencing.
Yeah, probably. But he did say that. I mean, like, so maybe you play with a superstar, and like you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah, no, and I think it's been proven. I mean, CJ McCollum is obviously a really good player. But yeah, Portland never really went out and put that team around him.
Well,
Did
they
get
had
lucky.
LaMarcus Aldridge at 1.2, right?
Yeah, I want to say they had some like
But
decent
he doesn't.
runs.
He's not good anymore. It doesn't seem like
I couldn't even tell you if he's even in Portland anymore.
he's not.
So
I think he's in San Antonio.
yeah, but yeah, definitely need a little bit more talent around him. And now there's no excuse. Giannis doesn't have an excuse. Lillard doesn't have an excuse. I guess injuries would be about the only excuse. But
I mean,
yeah.
so if your defense isn't good, that could be a problem, right? Where Holiday had a piece of that defense.
Yeah. So I
And who's the
definitely,
starting shooting guard now? Because it probably was Allen, right?
I mean, Pat Connaughton. I would say
Okay,
Grayson
yeah.
Allen was like our 6 man.
Okay.
Because yeah, it looks like the starting lineup is going to be Lillard, Connaughton, Middleton, Lopez, Giannis is our starting 5 right now. So maybe like you could say in this trade, like we lost a little bit of depth and a little bit of defense, but we gained a whole shitload of offense. And I think defensively, really the thing that makes the Bucks defense tick is Giannis and then Lopez in the paint. So you're still going to have one of the best defenses as long as you got those 2 guys on the court. But yeah, Drew Holiday, what a dude. Love that guy.
I'm disappointed Holiday had to be in that trade, right?
Yeah.
But I get it too. So
honestly, though, thinking more about it, I think we're very more so than most like general fans. We're pretty good about seeing the person side of things. I mean, everybody loved Drew Holiday though. Is the shit. I want to say I seen a tweet. It might be a gotcha tweet that Drew Holiday just tweeted out yesterday that I'm a Buck for life. I don't want to play for another team besides the Bucks. And then he gets traded.
I saw that before the trade happened.
Mother. Yeah.
So like within a couple of days of saying that he wanted to finish his career as a Buck, he gets traded, which is disappointing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the way it happened. Where if he would have just been like today, he came out and said, I was really hoping to finish my career as a Buck, but now I'm on to Portland or whatever. But that is the way it's. I mean, sadly enough, it's a business, right?
Yeah,
And
and
everybody that wants to stay there.
it sounds like Portland picked him up purely to get more pieces too. So he's probably going to get traded back into the East. So we're going to be playing against him
Oh, see, I
right
didn't
away
hear much
again.
on the news piece of it.
Yeah, I mean it was a 3-team deal. I sure should have had this one up right now, but
Well, I got the pieces of it. I just didn't hear like the conjecture on why Portland's picking him up.
okay, give the pieces, and then I'll give you kind of
So,
what I plagiarized from other sources around
yeah.
the sports
So
world.
Holiday gets traded to the Blazers along with Suns DeAndre Ayton and Tumani Kamara. All three of those players end up with the Blazers. The Bucks also give up Grayson Allen in a 2029 first round pick, unprotected to the Suns, and then they have the ability to swap in 2028 and 2030. I'm assuming the Suns have that ability and not the Bucks. But it didn't read very clearly on the site I was on, like who gets the option to switch.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Suns.
Right. And then the Suns also received Jusuf Nurkic, Nasser Little, and Keon Johnson. Must be all Blazers.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar. Nurkic sounds like a guy that can play basketball, I guess. I think I've heard that name, but the other ones, I'd be hard pressed. When we do lock into the Bucks in the East, but yeah, West stuff, especially Portland and
yeah, teams that aren't that good. I'm not.
Yeah,
like the Suns, I know who DeAndre Ayton is. I don't know this Tumani Kamara.
Yeah,
but I suppose that kind of is what it is, right? I think overall the Bucks got better today, right? Especially offensively, defensively. I suppose you can go out and like you can find a shooting guard that could kind of replace defensively what Holiday gave you.
I think it's tough because I do think Holiday is, all NBA defensive team. I don't have that up either, but I'm pretty sure the all defensive team. Drew Holiday is a staple in the roster for that.
And maybe like a guy like Beauchamp can step into that shooting guard role and be that sixth guy that Grayson Allen was at some point.
Man, I definitely have to turn my basketball game or my basketball brain back on. But Marjon Beauchamp, that
was the first round pick that was our pick, not last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I was mixing him up with a goofy dude in my head that I was like, I don't even think we have him still. But yeah, Marjon Beauchamp, yep, you are right. But yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that really that's all I think we got for the Bucks.
Yeah,
you had something else to say, so.
Yeah, I think bottom line, and then I was going to throw a hypothetical at you, is you're probably having to move Middleton or Holiday. Obviously, ultimately it was Holiday, but what do you think? Like, do you think that's the right move if it was your choice? If we're going to give up either Middleton or Holiday, or are you keeping Holiday over Middleton? And this is purely hypothetical. I didn't hear if they could have done it with Middleton or if they would.
So I think if I'm building a team, I'm giving up Holiday. And I'm giving up Holiday because Middleton and Giannis grew up on that team together. And so I feel like the team building aspect of that matters. And so if that is the same player to me, like that they give me the same output at the end of the day, like year in and year out, like they're similar players and they give me the same thing, I'm going to take the one that has a better relationship with my superstar player because that keeps him as happy as possible.
Yeah. And I guess I agree with you on that. And I think Middleton's a solid defender anyways. Like he holds his own on the court.
And both of them, if they get hot, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Because I was going to say, but Middleton's a better offensive option, which I do think is a true statement. But Holiday definitely for stretches over the last 2 years has closed out games being just an absolute monster, hitting shots at end of game. So where it seems like Middleton hasn't done it quite as much, but Middleton seems to be a little bit more injury prone too. So hopefully that's just been bad luck. And yeah, I think if this Bucks team's healthy, I do not see how they're not the favorite to win the NBA title this year.
I mean, Miami's been very good, right? So like Miami becomes Bucks killers.
Yeah.
So they should really be the 30-point Buck song. They should be playing that down in Miami all the time.
Yeah. Go get those fucking bastards in Miami.
Yep. All right. Let's jump over to jumping in the stands.
I think we're going to call it leaping in the stands.
Leaping in the stands. That's yep. You're right.
No, I've been jumping back and forth because we do jump around and that's our Badgers. Then we leap into the stands and that's our Packers. Do you want me to go for this? Because I did go back. I watched all the Lions games in the highlight form of it just to get a good feel. I did not organize my notes very great. So I was just scatterbrained throwing my notes around. But
do it to it, man.
All right. So Lions are -1 as we speak in Lambeau. The over-under in this game is 46. Mike always loves to do the math. So what are they predicting the score is going to be then, Mike?
23-24 hits the under.
23-24 is over. That's 47.
Yeah, that's one over. That's what I said. And 23-22 hits the under. So,
but could you do 40? No, because you would get an odd number if a team won by one in that.
Yeah, so
we'll figure it out one day. But yeah, you can't. It's impossible to
right. So
push and cover.
So what do we say? 23-22 is the under. Both of them are averaging like 28 points a game. Doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah,
no, they only average 23. The Packers average 27 though.
Yeah. So right now Detroit is averaging 24 points a game, giving up 21 points a game. So pretty good defense. As far as their games have went so far, so I think everybody saw this one because it was the open game of the season. They beat the Chiefs, really showed some heart in that game. Granted, the Chiefs were definitely not at full strength. Kelsey was out. They end up losing in Seattle, 37-31. Goff has a decent game in that one. I don't know if I already said it. They lost in OT. They did, it was a winnable game for sure. I think there was a bad fumble. Whatever. Then they stomped on Atlanta last week, which, as we know, Green Bay failed to put Atlanta out of their misery when they had the opportunity to put Atlanta out of their misery. Pat's notes going into this one. Jared Goff is having a pretty solid season. Seems to be a fairly competent quarterback on, a team that's not fully relying on their quarterback to like go out and do stuff. But right now he has a 70% completion rate. I take it back, 69.9% completion rate, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and his quarterback rating is 101.6. So good numbers there. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Which St. Brown are we going against?
It's the Sun God.
Amon St. Brown.
Amon-Ra. Yeah, you're right. It's Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think eyes are opening up to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I think he's one of the better wide receivers in the league. But honestly, going back and watching this stuff, Josh Reynolds, their number 2 guy, is a pretty damn good receiver as well. He's kind of been doing more of the damage as far as touchdowns. I guess he has 2 touchdowns. St. Brown has 1 touchdown where it was kind of like a slant that he like ended up taking to the house, but he's just a scrappy dude. I heard him on a podcast that I listened to. They were interviewing him. Dude like got drafted after 16 receivers, I want to say, and
he was drafted in like the 3rd round in the year that like a bunch. I want to say
it was like Jamar Chase. It was Chase. I mean, the top 3 guys on his list that he wrote down that got drafted in front of him. When you read the list, you're like, okay, like he can't be
Chase
that.
And Jefferson, or is Jefferson? No, Jefferson was out a year before that.
Yeah, I don't think Chase and Jefferson were in the same year, but I can't remember exactly what the draft class is, but like two or three of the names, you're like, okay, yeah, those guys probably deserve to go before you, even if you prove them wrong later in their career. But they came out of the gates swinging, but just sounds like a monster. His dad was Mr. America. His brother was on the Packers for a while.
I think he still plays for the Bears.
Yeah. So got football in that bloodline. But like I said, Josh Reynolds has been a great number 2 receiver. Laporta, their tight end, is a solid pass catching option as well. Their pass rush is good. Aiden Hutchinson, obviously everybody knows, dude's a beast. They have 8 sacks through 3 games, which I think they only got to the quarterback once in Seattle. So a bulk of their sacks came against Atlanta, and then the Chiefs. I want to say a ton of them came against Atlanta. So that 8 sacks is a little convoluted. But I mean, still, they have a good pass rush. Head coach Dan Campbell, dude's not afraid to put his nuts on the table. I think the Packers should expect something weird this week. Detroit is going to do something weird this week. Against the Chiefs right away, they ran a fake punt, like I want to say on their first punt attempt of the season. So,
nice.
Yeah, he's not afraid of doing anything, whatever he thinks is going to win the game. Other than that, I guess we've kind of been breaking games down by going, what do we think? So our, pass defense against their pass defense. Right now it sounds like Watson and Jones is going to be back, which helps our offense.
And Alexander, from what I hear.
Okay, I was going to ask you. So Alexander.
And then Carrington Valentin should be back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll play a bunch. I think I closed out my other one. And then I thought I heard one more. Devondre Campbell should be back as well.
See, I heard he was out. So
okay,
conflicting.
So Campbell, I don't know about. I thought I heard Alexander was going to be back. Watson, Jones. Now I was anticipating that Watson and Jones were held out of the last game to be in this game with short rest. And that's what I would assume.
No, I think you're right in that. I do think we thought the same thing about Bakhtiari as well, but he's been ruled out. Like I said, I thought Campbell was ruled out, so we're going to be a middle linebacker short. Isn't the greatest rushing team as it stands right now, anyways. And then if we have Alexander, which seems like he primarily stays on the left side of the field, locking down the left, and then Douglas. Ideally, you would want Alexander on Amon-Ra St. Brown, Douglas on Josh Reynolds, and go from there. But the way Alexander plays, whatever, left, right, whoever's coming over there, we have 2 solid cornerbacks that can cover up these receivers. So I think it kind of washes out their receiving talent with our strong front half of our secondary. Our strong.
Yeah, our safeties aren't great, but Savage has been playing very, very well. Like playing much different than he did last year anyway. And so I think that we're okay, right? So if you match up Alexander on St. Brown, we're going to be fine. Walker goes on Laporta, who is a problem for that team.
Yep.
And then Douglas follows Reynolds or whatever. We need somebody to play well on their other wide receiver because they're probably going to run three. And if Walker's on Laporta, then Campbell has to cover Gibbs, who should be okay, right? We just need to figure out. They have weapons on their offensive side. Our defense just needs to play, I would say, kind of the way they played against New Orleans, and not so much the way they played against the Falcons. So the Falcons, I feel like, looking back at it now, that we tried to play a game where we were afraid of them passing all over us, and they can't pass the ball. So there was no point in doing that, right? If the pass game beats us, so be it. But their running game just kind of kept us, or their really short passing game, right? So they threw a lot of balls over to Bijan and just snuck out for, threw it behind the line of scrimmage and then got 7 yards on it. That's a lot.
So say that one more time for me because I'm scrambling through a couple things. So I guess actually I'll say it in my own opinion. So we're saying probably concentrate more on have our defensive scheme plotted to play more of a passing. They have a deadlier passing attack than rushing attack, I would say. And
yeah, so I'm not sure.
And you got to make them beat us with the run.
This is a team that I do actually think is a problem both ways. So you have Gibbs, and then you have maybe Gibbs is the only one, but he hasn't been dominant. But they still do get 110 yards a game on the ground. So I think that could affect us.
Yeah, they got Montgomery as well.
Okay,
Gibbs, Montgomery, and then I want to say there was another running back that they just got back. I guess Knight is the other one, but he's only got 3 carries. But right now, Montgomery has 37 carries, 141 yards, 3.8. And Gibbs is averaging 4.5 yards a carry. So yeah, you ain't wrong. They're like a fairly complete team on offense.
So I think like going into the season, they were probably the most complete team in the NFC North. And they haven't, as far as I can tell, really lost anybody. We're going to have to. So defensively, you got to make stops. I would imagine that what Joe Barry will try to do is get field goals instead of touchdowns, because that's what Joe Barry always does. He doesn't give a fuck if he gives up a ton of yards in the middle of the field as long as he gets stops in the red zone. And we're like the 11th best in the league doing that, which isn't terrible. I mean, so like 44% of opponents score a touchdown when they get in the red zone, or 44% of the time they score a touchdown when they get in the red zone. 11th in the league. I can deal with that, right? But if you break, then we're kind of fucked. And as far as offensively goes, the Packers need to be able to protect Love, I think. Having Watson back and Jones back is going to help a lot with something like that, but you're still going to have your whole left side of your line is going to be out, and it's going to be hard to protect that whole left side. Like, they have Aiden Hutchinson, who's very, very good. I don't know who the guy on the other side of the ball is, but I feel like it's kind of a player too.
Yeah, they do have 2 good pass rushers from what I was seeing when I was watching that back. I don't know if it's Harris, but whatever. Hutchinson has 2 sacks. This Harris has a sack. Jack Campbell, that was a Wisconsin boy.
Yeah, I believe so.
He has a sack. And and they all, they have their head coach, Dan Campbell, is just a hard ass. So
yeah, speaking of Dan Campbell, he is the I think he's the Chuck Norris of NFL football.
Yeah, you saved that tweet and sent it to me. I thought that was pretty good.
So there was another one that I saw that and it was obviously a spoof. I could tell it was a spoof, and so I read it. I thought it was kind of funny, and then moved on. And then I saw this other one. I was like, oh, this is what they're trying to create. And I don't know if Jared Goff actually said that like he's this guy and they're trying to like make a joke about it, like the Lions actually are. But the first one that I saw was that to prepare for a primetime game, which the Lions haven't had in, I don't know, how long has it been since they had a fucking game on like Thursday night, Sunday night, or Monday night? Probably forever, right?
Yeah, I
probably not since Campbell's been there, so he hasn't even had one. But it was like to like, I don't know, like watch film, go for like a run, lift biceps, only the show muscles because that's all he cares about. Like he needs to look intimidating, and then have sex with his wife, and then tape the picture of the opposing coach up on the wall, because if he can nut when he's looking at the opposing coach's face, then he knows he can beat him or something. Like it was just dumb, right? All this dumb shit that he threw in there.
Sounds smart to me, but
sounds like legit pregame activity, right? And so like it was obviously like not something Dan Campbell said, or if Dan Campbell said it, he was obviously joking.
Yeah.
Right? If that's his actual pregame routine, maybe he is Chuck Norris, right? So I saw those 2 things, and like I think they're trying to create him into the Chuck Norris of the NFL, which I think is probably the perfect character to be that.
Oh yeah. He's
like
he's a pretty funny dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And he says a lot of like inspirational and weird things at the same time.
Yeah.
Like the non-kneecaps, like I get that. Like I can understand what he's like trying to get at, but it's weird to say.
Yeah, like old. I don't know exactly where he's from, but yeah, it seems like you're hanging out with your buddy in the South and he's saying like we need to get the roosters clucking quicker than the hens today or something. Like,
and there's probably shit we say in the North too, right? and it just like it doesn't resonate in the same way to us. Like that's normal to say it,
Yeah. I remember one
right?
time I used the reference, I was barking up the wrong tree on that one, like in a class full of like military people, and everybody thought it was like the funniest thing. It didn't help that I was like very wrong about the question and I answered it very confidently.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, I was barking up the wrong tree on that one. And then people lost their
But
shit.
I would imagine that. So like that comes
More of a
from.
southern, yeah, I would think.
I would think so too because I think it's from like a hunt. It's a hunting reference, like like raccoon hunting,
Mm,
right? So like the dog goes to the wrong tree, right? And then like the hunters look and they for it in that tree and it's not even there, barking up the
yeah.
wrong tree.
No, yeah, that's exactly where it comes from. But when you were
But
saying
don't
that,
they
I
do that
thought,
in the South? I would assume they do that in the South.
yeah, I was assuming you were going back to the slave times with that reference. But
Why would that be like?
I don't know. I just remember a scene in like Django where they tree one of the slaves that was trying to get away.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but yeah, I
I
don't
was
know
talking
if
about like
it
legit like raccoon
hunting.
hunting.
Yeah, well, I don't know about raccoons, but like, there's what animals do you tree? Like squirrels? I feel like you won't. Yeah, you want the squirrels in the
No
tree.
dogs with squirrels. No, I've never hunted with dogs with squirrels. You could tree a bear with dogs.
I guess so,
I
but
think. I think you can hunt with dogs for bears, and then raccoons you do for sure too. You use dogs,
I
hundred
didn't even
percent.
know you hunt raccoons.
Oh yeah, you hunt them for the pelts, man. Sell them babies. You didn't have any
No,
buddies that hunted raccoons.
I mean, no, I don't think so. I've seen some people run over raccoons. Man, I
Yeah,
love
so
raccoons.
I think at one point in my life I ran over a whole family of raccoons.
You on purpose?
No, I wouldn't call it on purpose. I didn't try to avoid them though either. They were like it was like the mom came out and then like there was like six babies behind her, and it was covering like the whole lane, maybe both lanes. So just plowed them all over. I don't know if I hit the big one, just the babies.
Just a raccoon massacre. I remember one time a buddy was driving my car. Same exact thing happened. So I mean, it was probably the time of year, and he
Yeah.
like swerved to hit all the raccoons. And I was like, dude, what the heck? He's like, don't worry, it won't do anything to your car. And I was like, dude, I'm not concerned about the car. I just didn't want to massacre a family of raccoons right now. But
Yeah.
I stand with raccoons on that one. Mike was a
Yeah. Yeah.
dickhead. He
Fair
ran over
enough.
a baby raccoon.
Yeah, a bunch of them. Now just one.
Mm.
Yeah, like I had a good amount of friends that raccoon hunters for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I went to school with people who raccoon hunt, but my buddies weren't really the hunting crowd. So
All right, where do you think the Packers have faults in this game? Like, what is going to be the biggest challenge for the Packers?
yeah, so that is a good question. I think it's going to be like the first really formidable. No, because the Saints were good until Carr went down. So I'll walk that statement back. Uh, yeah, I just think Detroit's like an all around good team. I think you said it. Like they were probably the most complete team in the NFC North before this season started. But we've been protecting Love pretty good. I think we only gave up a sack to the Saints with Bakhtiari and Jenkins out,
Yep.
who are out again. So I mean, our depth at line
We
has
gave up
been.
one to the Falcons too, or no?
I want to say Love's only been sacked like 3 times this year. So yeah, like one a game.
Oh, okay.
I could be slightly wrong about that, but yeah, we haven't been getting him sacked too much. But yeah, I'm dancing around your question right now. I just think it's going to be what it's been all year. If we can get that offense ticking against a solid defense, I think our defense will come out and play just fine. I don't think there's anybody on their team that's like that crazy or scheme that will give us like too much of trouble. So we just
Okay.
need Joe Barry to dial up a good game plan. I don't think we're going to be giving up over 24 points in this game. I think our defense is going to keep it under that. So I think the issue is going to be if we can score over 24 points. So what's our number? 23 and a half?
Yeah, I think
So
it's yeah, or 24, like 24 and a half maybe.
so I think,
Let's go with 23 and a half. I think that if you give up 24, it's a little too much.
okay. And I think the Packers can win this one 23-24. That's my prediction. What do you got for biggest issues to overcome in this game?
I think our pass defense is going to be the issue here. I think Gibbs is a good pass catcher. St. Brown is a good pass catcher. And then Laporta is a good pass catcher. Like we have problems with that. Now, if they're not chipping on guys like Rashawn Gary, Van Ness, and Preston Smith, I think they're in trouble, right? I mean, so you have Sewell who can line up against one of those guys, but if Gary comes in and lines up opposite of Sewell, like I think that they're gonna have trouble if they don't chip with either Gibbs or Laporta. But I do think when they're running free and we're not getting a good pass rush on, we have to worry about our secondary. That things aren't going to go good. I would imagine that we're going to give up a lot of yards in the middle of the field. So the biggest issue we're going to have is whether or not we make stops inside the red zone. If we can't make stops inside the red zone, we're done for the week, right? So if they end up scoring, they'll probably get into the red zone 6 times. If they end up scoring 3 touchdowns in the red zone, I think we're probably in trouble and probably going to lose that game.
I like it.
However, I think that we're very, very good at like getting stops in the red zone. And so our goal here should be 25% red zone scores instead of red zone touchdowns instead of 44 or 45%, whatever it is. And so that's what I think it comes down is dialing up a good defense for the red zone plays. Is not letting them in the end zone, which we've done a good job of so far this year. Last game, I thought we did a good job of keeping them out of the end zone, right? Completely, or keeping them out of the red zone completely. So we give up 3 in a touchdown, but 10 points to an offensive team or to an offense in the NFL is something I can deal with. If we can dial up something that keeps them around 16, I think we win this game pretty easily.
I like it. Yeah. But they have been protecting Goff pretty good this year. So they've only gave up 3 sacks as well. So okay. I do think it's 2 very evenly matched teams without really like superstars on the offensive side of the ball. I guess Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball, I would say, is a superstar that you're going to need to definitely mark. But yeah, no, I like your breakdown. They definitely do have depth for receiving options, whether it be running backs, receivers, tight ends.
All right. So are you hitting the over or the under on this?
I'm going to go under, I think. So I'm going to say no, because my score prediction was 24-23, the Packers. So I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to say 21-20. No, I'm keeping it 23-24 Green Bay. I'm going with the over. Just over.
Right. So I'm going with the over as well. I'm going with 27-20.
Okay. I like that.
So backdoor over cover for the Lions. It'll be 14 and they'll get one late. So it'll be 27-14. They're going to get 27-13. They'll get a touchdown late.
Okay. I like it. The math adds up there.
Yeah.
All right.
Screwing up my math.
So yeah, I guess we would be bad not to mention it, but I guess we're not going to cover it. But I'll be paying attention to the Ryder Cup a little bit starting tomorrow. I was going to look up all the rules and stuff, but we didn't get our expert on. So yeah, go USA. That's all I got to say about the Ryder Cup. Sounds like it'll be a cool course. USA. Let's go. Even though I look at the European team and I just like the guys on the European team better. I like Shane Lowry. I think that's my favorite golfer. That's what I'm going with. All right. So I don't even know why I brought that up if that's all we're going to touch. But anyways, we will get to the 6-pack and a pound.
Right before we do that, we're going to make a quick update. And the Brewers have just won 3-2 against St. Louis.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't have that one up. So
now another 6-pack and a pound.
6-pack and a pound. So recap. So Mike goes 1-6 last week. Ends up, yeah, that's tough to do. Ends up with negative 700 bing bongs, which puts him at negative 1,400 bing bongs on the year. Pat goes, I don't even know. I went 4-3, but I hit my big games. I hit my double dog that I was very proud of. Called that Cardinals upset.
I can't believe that you called that shit.
Oh yeah, no, I was ready for it. It was just like the story that I've seen told too many times. Cowboys are hot. Everybody's on them. Cowboys are so good. Cardinals suck ass. The Cowboys go somewhere against a shitty team, shit the bed, and then.
So I get that piece of it. The double dog piece of it like doesn't make any sense to me, right? So the like winning that outright doesn't make any sense at all to me. Like I get the winning that game, or not winning that game, like covering that game, like just barely. Like they barely beat the Cardinals. I do not understand like how you predict them to win, and then they almost like covered the reverse of that.
Yeah, no, if I was thinking about it, I would tell you took the alternate spread. Spot the Cowboys 11 points. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Oh yeah. You knew that 11.5. Like fuck it, throw the half point in. No chance for a push.
But yeah,
that was a good pull, man. It was a good pull.
I appreciate it. But yeah, I hit my 2 big games, so I ended up plus 400 on the week. I'm at plus 300, which I need to update down here for the season. So if you've been betting with me, you've been winning those bing bong. If you've been fading Mike, you've been making a killing in the bing bong. Yeah. So let's get into it. We're going to do our 6-pack and a pound brought to you by Taco John's, Sundrop, and Coney Island. We got them all 3 sponsoring this one segment. And when Mike is ready, I'm going to let him rip his 6-pack and a pound. I feel like I should explain it more, but the real ones will just know. We're just picking games, basically. And your last game is a pound, and that's for 300 ping pongs. So go for it, Mike, when you're ready.
Yeah. We got a couple of spots here that are not the same lines. So if you see this, Pat will probably correct it here for us.
No, your lines are probably more right because I did mine earlier in the day. So
yeah, whatever, whichever ones you want. I don't care. Like it doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to get started here on my 6-pack and a pound. I got the Patriots, the Cowboys. Cowboys are -7. I'm taking the Cowboys -7 in a get right game. I think they can beat the Patriots. Steelers at the Texans. I'm going to take Texans are +3. I'm going to take the Steelers -3 in this one. Vikings at the Panthers. Panthers are +4. I'm taking the Vikings here -4. They got to figure out a win. I think the Panthers are the place to do it. Buccaneers at the Saints. Saints are -3.5. I'm taking the Bucks at +3.5. The Dolphins at the Bills. Bills are -2.5. I'm taking the Bills -2.5. That feels like a trap game to me. Rams at the Colts. Colts -1. I'm taking the Rams +1. That's my double dog. Chiefs at the Jets. Jets are +9.5. I'm taking the Chiefs -9.5. I had a take on the Jets defense earlier in the season. I have gone away from that. That team is in shambles.
I like it.
That's my 6-pack, or that's my Pound it. Game of the week is the Chiefs.
Pound it. Yeah, we got a lot of picks that contradict each other this week.
God damn it.
So I'll be changing some of my lines on the fly. That is one thing that's been kind of unfortunate, like with us picking games on Wednesday nights. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna roll through my 6-pack and a pound. I'd like to point out which game I think Mike did the best on, but I don't really think he did too good this week. So Mike maybe did really good because I said last week I was like, I think you're winning this for sure. But anyways, here I go in my 6-pack in a pound. First game I have is Lions -1 at the Packers. Take the Packers +1 and make that a double dog. You will be doubling up your money. Just bet money line. Let's go out and crush them. Then next game I have Falcons at Jags. This game's Jags -3 in London. Take those Jags -3 because they're a good team that's been underperforming. So they're going to whoop the shit out of the Falcons. Next game I have Vikings -4 at the Panthers. Take those Panthers +4 because the Vikings suck ass. One day we'll have a whole crowd of people saying that with me. Next game I have Dolphins at the Bills -2.5. I kind of agree with Mike on this one that it does feel trappy, but I'm going to fall into that trap and I'm going to take the Dolphins +2.5 in that game just because I think Mike McDaniel's out to prove something right now. Putting up that 70 burger. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I like the Bills, but I'm gonna stick with the Dolphins. I'm gonna try to taste that tasty cheese in that cheese trap. Next game I have Cardinals at the 49ers. 49ers are -14. Cardinals paid off for me last week, so I'm gonna roll with them again. Too many points. Take the Cardinals +14. They'll keep you in that one. Commanders at Eagles. Eagles are -8 in this game. Eagles are wagging. Eagles -8. Too easy. Take it. And then my pound it game of the week. Raiders at the Chargers. Chargers are -5.5. And take those Chargers -5.5. And you better pound it. I took both Mike's favorite coaches in this segment, so about to get them started in this one. Your mic turned off on you.
Yeah, my TV turned off. My mute on my TV turned off.
Okay.
I had my TV muted so I could like pay attention to the Brewer game too when it was going on. And the mute turned off, so then I turned my mute on here on so that it wasn't like disrupting your shit. But I'm not going to get started on. I actually think you didn't. I think Josh McDaniels is outdoing Brandon Staley currently. You kicked a field goal with fucking whatever amount of time left when you could have went for the end zone and got a touchdown and tied it. Like touchdown 2-point conversion ties the fucking game. Josh McDaniels, also a clown. So you can take whoever you want in that game.
Oh, yeah, the Raiders game. Okay, I was getting confused.
Mike McDaniels is making me look foolish. So
yeah, he shouldn't have took those ping pong tables out. Mike was still mad about him for taking away the ping pong.
I just don't I don't know that he's a stupid coach. I just don't like that he doesn't have conviction in that if we're going to play loose, we're going to be loose, right? Like it doesn't matter what the situation is. We want to be the team that's loose.
Yeah.
And, like he just wasn't that dude, right? So I don't know that he's a stupid coach. So maybe I shouldn't be calling him a buffoon coach quite yet. I just think he should stick to his guns. Don't be a flip-flopper. Nobody likes a flip-flopper, even though I've probably flip-flopped on this little show we got here 1,000 times. Oh, and I actually agree that flip-flopping isn't bad.
Yeah. You learn new things, you change opinions. I like it. You flip-flopped on wanting to run for the mayor of Wilton, president of the United States. Flip-flop. So
flip-flop.
But I will say in this this is the first week where I didn't have a pounded game where I was like a lot of conviction in my pounded game. And I was kind of in between pounding the Eagles -8 or the Chargers -5.5. But I'll stick with the Chargers -5.5 for my pounded game.
I think the problem with both those games is that they are divisional opponents, and divisional opponents can get into sketchy games.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The NFL is just the NFL. Like,
yeah, no,
it is what it is. Like I was saying, I feel like the Cowboys and the Cardinals kind of have some sort of like weird rivalry. I mean, you explained it like because they used to be in the same division, but there was something about that game. I don't know if I like the helmet colors like clashing against each other, but there's something aesthetically pleasing to me watching the Cardinals beat up on the Cowboys, and I feel like I've seen it more than a few times. So that was, but yeah, it's weird. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if Mike loses this one, he's got a lot riding on it. He might be doing our first shirtless show of banging on the drum on next Wednesday, hopefully. All right.
No, not hopefully. I mean, what the fuck are you saying?
I want to see you with your shirt off doing the show, getting the ladies involved, man. We had like 85 viewers of our YouTube video. Imagine you shirtless, man. We're gonna get like 93 bare minimum
at least
viewers on that show. I think. What do you want to do? So we're gonna do Mike Pick Your Adventure. We can do these both. So do you think it would be sweet to be the Jags playing 2 games in a row in London? Yeah, let's just do them both. You don't even get to choose anymore, Mike. What do you think? The Jacksonville Jaguars just get to stay in London. I bet you that's like a fairly big advantage. Not the first week you're there, but like the second week, like you're.
So what I would do to make it like less fair is give somebody 2 Thursday games in a row. So like if this was, I wouldn't send the Packers, so I'd send the Lions over there next week to face them on Thursday, so they get only a week off instead of the 10 days like you normally do. And then give the Jags a short week in London.
Okay. Yeah, I got to conceptualize whether I think that's
And then they
like
play
a
that
good.
game like a normal Thursday night game. So they started at like 1 o'clock in the morning London time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just like losing a home game. Granted, so the Jaguars, I think they're counting this one as their home game. I can't remember who they're playing next week for sure, but it's the other team's home game. I want to say it's maybe the Bills. Uh, Play the Jags in London, whatever. I'm not going to look that up, but I just think being taken out of your home stadium, punishment enough for that. So I think it is. I like this idea. Like if you're going to have a London game, you're going to have a team like you want London to get hooked on. Put the same team there, leave them there 2 weeks, give all the fans an opportunity to go to this game. I know it's in two different stadiums. Like one of them's in the next week's Hotspurs. This one's like Wembley or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just
so
give everyone a chance to get exposed to that team. I don't think you need to mess with like the competitive advantage of going over there. Because like I said, I think just losing that home game, it's punishment enough.
well, but they're still getting 8. AFC has 8 this year. So
Oh,
really, the way it probably should be is it should always be an AFC team versus an NFC team in this year, right? Whatever it is.
okay.
Or maybe, yeah, I think it's the AFC that has 8. Is this the second year?
What do you mean?
Is this the second year or the first or the third year of the 17 games?
I think it's the third year of it. So this would
Okay.
be the third year of it.
Okay. So it alternates who gets them. AFC or NFC gets 9 home games versus 8 home games. And so you should just put that extra home game versus an NFC opponent in
Problem solved. Yeah, that's
Europe.
smart.
And then like we said last year, we should just do it where every team has a city that they go to. Right. And so one year it's AFC teams, then so 16 cities, 32 teams, one NFC team, one AFC team, they go there every year.
I like this a lot. And yeah, I did just see a tweet that they're trying to expand down to Brazil. So
Yep. Will
that's
you
gonna
and the
be
wife like travel down there to go?
yeah,
That'd
no,
be that'd be a cool trip, right?
I think we will. I mean, it would have to be the Packers though. Like I don't think we would just like maybe we would plan it like where we could take people to a football game. Uh if we were there and it wasn't the Packers, but I can't see
Yeah, if you
traveling to
were already
Brazil.
there, right?
Yeah, so we'll see how it
Like
goes.
how often are you guys like gonna try to go back to Brazil?
I would want to every year if I could, but realistically, I think it's going to be once every 3 years. So
So like you're thinking like 1 year at home, 1 year in Brazil, 1 year in Sparta.
basically,
Like
yeah, that's
Christmas time, I would assume, like holidays.
yeah, and that's kind of the way our rotation has been going.
Okay.
I think we would be back on Brazil this year, but we got a big trip coming up this summer that we've had planned for a long time. So
Oh yeah,
that throws a wrench in that one.
for sure.
But are you ready for the brain drain of the week?
Yeah.
So this is what I got for it. I can't remember how this crossed my mind. Oh yeah, in a show I watched, people were getting burned alive, and I wanted to see what you think the worst way to die is.
All right. And so like, did you have an opinion?
Okay,
No,
here's
I can
my
go first, so that's fine with me. I
here's
just
my
put a couple other like silly ones in there.
yeah no I like yours. I'm gonna read the whole list. So burning alive, drowning, buried alive, tortured to death. And when I think about that, it's like captured by like someone creepy or like terroristy that's doing it to you, like straight up executed, kind of like bag over your head, get shot in the head
Yeah.
type deal.
Like so, like Mexican. I shouldn't say Mexican, like cartel style.
Yeah, yep. Kind of like if you guys seen the Ozarks, how they kill those people, like very scary environment, like right at the beginning of the show, and
Yeah.
like
First
as soon as
episode
they
or whatever when they get caught
and they
and they
like
kill everybody
knew
but the main character.
yeah, and they like know they're dead. Um, Stroke with no one to help you, so that's Mike's.
Yep.
Heart attack, having sex, but you don't get to nut. Ooh, that would be rough.
Right. So like you're just having sex, like you have a heart attack and you don't get there. Like that's not how it ends. Like it's pretty good. Like it's pretty good, right? But you
Yeah,
missed the best part.
now, yeah, it definitely won't be the worst way to go. I mean,
Fair enough. Fair enough. There's probably much worse ways to go. I think another one that you could throw on there is like being impaled, right? Like so you get impaled on something and then you're just kind of laying there and waiting to die. Gut shot, where you can't get any help. You get gut shot in the woods and you bleed out for 45 minutes and die.
yeah, I think there'd be something peaceful to that though.
You think so? I think it would be agonizing. And like knowing you're going to die is like the biggest part of like drowning that would bother me.
That's why. So out of I want to say the big three: fire, drowning, or buried alive. I think buried alive would be the worst because
yeah, that one would be tough for sure.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna go if I have to pick out of my little list that I read to you guys. I think buried alive is the game changer, and I think it's even worse if you're like in a coffin or something like that.
Where you have some air, like just some.
Yeah,
you're gonna die eventually. What about like a crucifixion? So, which in theory, I think if like my remembrance from history is correct, like it takes like 3 days and you like essentially suffocate because you can no longer pull yourself up on the, like you can't push yourself up on your feet and your arms, and so you're like baking in the sun, like fried, no fucking water. Like so the way Jesus kind of died. He died quicker than that, but
Yeah, that would be brutal. I still think I go buried alive. Like,
so the psychological effect of it would bother you most.
yeah, because I think I would be thinking like, oh, I hope someone finds me.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Right. That
Like
would
where
probably,
if I was getting like crucified, like I'd be like, well, I'm fucked. Like this sucks ass and it
but I
hurts.
know I'm dead.
Yeah. Like we're
Um,
buried alive, I'd be like, ah, I think I got a shot.
what
Fire.
about tortured to death? Do you feel like you would get saved? Like, would you have the same feeling? Like these guys are going to stop. They're not going to kill me.
Yeah, yep. I think I would have that would probably kill me even more. It's just like an unrealistic expectation that somebody probably wouldn't really want to kill somebody,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but they would be like dead set on killing you. Um, I think like a good example of like an execution when in Breaking Bad when they kill Hank in like
I don't
he's
even like remember that offhand. I'm pretty sure I saw that piece, but
yeah, but anyways, one guy's like a cop and he knows these people are gonna kill him like no matter what.
yeah,
And the
right. I
guy
know who
who
Hank is, right?
okay, and then
Yeah, maybe you're not explaining it to me. Maybe you're explaining it to everyone else.
yeah, but anyways, then the guy who got him in the situation was like begging for him to like not kill his brother-in-law who
Yep.
he got in this bad situation, and he was like, "You're that smart, but you're not dumb enough to know that I was dead this whole time." And it
Yep.
shoots him right in the head. But yeah,
So I did see it. Like we watched like this mini documentary for this training that I got because it's negotiators training for the Department of Corrections, right? So it's basically all prisons. So it's called Lucasville. I think it was on Netflix. I'm not positive about that, but I think it was. And it's like interesting, like the way these guys go about it, and like the negotiators kind of fucked it up. But like a riot in a prison, I think would be atrocious. It'd be so scary.
yeah, because yeah, they kind of like just a hectic, frantic energy that
The
would be going
chaos,
around there.
you know that a lot of guys in there are like bad dudes, right? Or that are willing to do or have done in the past some like pretty nasty shit.
And then they have
Um,
nothing to lose at that point too. Like some people would have nothing to lose at that
yep.
point too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, now I'm going to a worse jail.
Oh yeah. Now, oh, actually, it's probably not a worse jail, right? So, in general population, you have like people around you, and like if you feel like you're in danger in general population, and you decide to kill someone or kill multiple inmates, then you get put on like either a death row or a max security place. Max security, you get your own cell. Almost every prison in America is two inmates to a cell minimum, maybe three, and so you get your own room. And like, yeah, your rec time is limited and your social time is limited, but like your security is better.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about getting shanked and shit
Yep.
as much. Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, so that like when you put this on our doc or like put into the group text, I was like, ooh, like this I just seen and it kind of. So I'll actually get to my answer here. I think you're right. I think being buried alive. No, I'm gonna take that back. Drowning would be the worst for me because I feel like I should be able to get out of it.
Yeah, that would be a
Right.
rough
And so
part
like
for me
you and
drowning.
I are both like swimmers. So like people who don't feel like we're ever gonna drown, right? Not that we're great swimmers, but we're
Yeah,
good enough that like,
super comfortable in the water.
yeah, like it's never been an issue. Like I don't feel like, oh no, I'm gonna like something's gonna happen to me and I'm gonna drown. Um, I think drowning would disappoint me the most. And I feel like I should be able to get out of it. Like even if I'm in the middle of the ocean, I'd be like you lazy motherfucker, just keep fucking swimming, which isn't
Yeah.
accurate, right? But like that's the way I think my brain would work. And then when I was drowning, I'd be like, you can swim, and you're choosing not to do it right now.
Yeah.
And then like so I would be disappointed in myself. So I think that would be the hardest way for me personally to die.
You're like giving up on yourself. That's how you die.
Yeah,
You die.
yeah,
I think I've read that quote before. It's like you don't die from getting lost in the woods. You die for like thinking that you're not going to live in the woods. There's a better way. It was like put.
yeah. I get what you're saying though.
It was like you die from giving up, basically.
Yeah, and I think that like that would torture me. And if there's an afterlife, I wonder how much that would torture you then.
Oh, dude, I got a guy. If we ever get off-season stuff to come up here, to come on here and tell some of his stories about like hiking in Alaska and just putting himself in just the shittiest situations where I was like, yep, I would probably been dead if that was me. Like I would have not been able to build that tent and make a fire and do that shit to survive. And plus, the dude was like a professional kite surfer for a while. Yeah, he'd be an interesting guy to bring on here sometime. Oh,
I
but
didn't know there were professional kite surfers. That's kind of cool.
yeah, the story's interesting too because I don't think there was. I think he was one of the first professional kite surfers too. Like so.
Oh, well, all right.
Yeah.
All right. What's your worst way to die? Buried alive then?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with buried alive. I when you said like drowning would be your most disappointing thing, that resonated with me too. And I think I would also be very disappointed if I got like bit by a little insect or something and then that ended up killing me. Like that would piss me off a little bit. Like that thing took me off. But yeah.
And like being from like around here, like getting lost in the woods and dying would bother me quite a bit because like you can't get lost in the woods in Wisconsin. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean places I've been in Wisconsin, definitely not. Like I mean walk far enough, you'll get to a road or some shit and then
Yep.
follow that
Yeah. If you
road.
walk in the same direction, you're gonna get somewhere. Where out west, I know that isn't true, right? Like you could walk for hundreds of miles, right?
Yeah, like Alaska. That's not true. Like there's just no shit around you. But yeah, I think that will wrap it up for the episode. I'm sticking with buried alive. Mike's going drowning to death. But if you stuck around this long, thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share our stuff. We love you. And Mike, what do you got?
If anybody's doubting the Brewers, the Badgers, the Bucks, or the Packers, you can eat our shorts. Roll it.
All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Beat 'em. All them suckers that doubted the Packers can't eat my shorts. Eat my shorts.